name is Natalie. I'm one of the co-founders of Cover, and I also lead product on the team. So for those of you who are not familiar with Cover, we are a mobile-first insurance entity. We launched about 2 years ago out of Y Combinator, and it's honestly felt like just one long day since then. The bulk of our business we get from selling car and home policies, but we've written insurance for pretty much anything you can think of. We've done pets, drones, boats. We did a tank once, comic book collections, really anything that you can take a picture of, we can write insurance for. And we do this through our one-part broker. We sell insurance in 49 states, and we're appointed directly with 30-plus carriers across the U.S., and also through our MGA. And we'll be launching our first product coming this fall, which is really exciting for our team. So prior to jumping into this really exciting world of insurance, I started off my career in fashion. Shortly after I graduated from Queens, shout out, in 2009, I moved to New York where I was working for a fashion brand there. I stayed there for a few years, then I came back to Canada where I met my co-founders for Cover. Cover is actually our second business together. Our first was a shopping app called StyleKick, where we sold high-end fashion on mobile. So even though we've made this massive shift from fashion to insurance, we still approach product design the same way, as if we were still designing for fashion. And the reason for that is shopping and fashion apps are very consumer-centric. The purchase decision for someone in a shopping app is one of want. It's not of need. Insurance is by nature the opposite. You have to have insurance to drive a car, to sign a lease, to get a mortgage. And in my opinion, the products out there, make no bones about that it is compulsory. So insurance, we view it as a commodity. The future is a commodity, and you can see there's a loss of a degree of care when the customer has to buy something, as opposed to shopping, which is voluntary. So shopping, whether it's fashion, our key, we still want to approach it the same way. So we want our products to be beautiful, functional, modern, and above all, to give our consumers confidence. We want them to be confident in the purchase they've made, as well as the brand that they have made it from. So there are still, unique product challenges to fintech. It's not all apples to apples. I've outlined 3 here. The main one being that the bar to educate a consumer is much higher. What we're selling is intangible, and it is not intuitive. There's nothing intuitive in the deductible having an inverse correlation towards a premium. The average person doesn't get that. Secondly, daily active users, it's not that important to us. There's only a few key times per year when a person has to use their insurance, whether it's claims, a renewal. So what can we do to stay top of mind for those few key moments? The third, our basket size is huge. We know that customer service is paramount for any impulse purchase over $20. With every incremental dollar, your customers care more and more about where their dollar is going. They're getting value from it, and they get the right customer service. So to kind of benchmark it against Cover, our average basket size is $1,700 US on mobile. So they care a lot. They can get angry very quickly. So how do we remedy and overcome these challenges? And I picked out a few here that have been key learnings for us. The first is to force simplicity by designing mobile first. Your users are not giving you their full attention. Anything that causes friction, so whether it is reading information that is complicated or having a very complicated ask or request of them, that's going to cause friction in their brains, and they're going to skim right over it. You want to aim for like 3 to 4 words that are real words and not jargon. You want real people to relate to their projects, not just people in your industry. Another way is to be efficient with how you are using time and space. People aren't coming to a finance app to browse and spend their discretionary time. They're coming there for a discrete need, whether that is checking their bank balance, filing a claim, checking their credit. So you want to have that CTA very clearly for them to get. Because if they can't get it and their brain hits that friction, they're going to close your app, and you can pretty much consider that person gone. Set up a product funnel and measure everything. You cannot manage what you do not measure. And the product funnel for insurance is not dissimilar to that of a fashion or shopping app. We have our sign up, browse, buy, re-engage, and champion. What is really important to focus on is identifying where those happy moments are and then those not so happy moments, so you can quickly iterate and improve that experience or replicate what you are doing well. And finally, the purchase decision is emotional. Whether you're selling, a really nice pair of jeans or insurance policies, you have to design for trust. Geico spends $1 billion per year on brand awareness. So how do we as startups compete with, not having such deep pockets? And we have to design for trust. You can do this by working with trusted brand partners. Cover works directly with Travelers, Nationwide, Safeco, all brands that customers are familiar with. Bridging the education gap. So helping them understand, be transparent, and then letting them know that you have their back. We can help you through this complicated process. Again, we want to track those happy moments and turn them into opportunities for referrals, reviews. And finally, your customer service is just an extension of your product experience. Your customer journey starts when they first hit your brand all the way through when they're finished dealing with your sales team. That whole thing, that whole cycle matters to that customer. Every time they interact with your brand, you want to know that you are a person they can trust with their finances, and with the protection of their family and all of their stuff they work really hard for. So I'll keep it brief, and that's all I have for you today, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And for those of you that are looking to start in the industry, we are hiring. My awesome team is here being really supportive in the second row. Thank you so much, everybody.
From what I understand, you're a distributed team, half in the Valley and half here. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So what's the benefits and disadvantages of that structure?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a medium answer, not a long or a short, a medium answer. So we built our first company in Toronto. That was StyleKick. And then comparing it to building that in San Francisco, it was just a very, very different experience. And then mostly it's because of the branding of the Valley and the Valley and the access to capital. So we've been able, on a business development side, to move very, very quickly, because once you get into that ecosystem, it seems very, very large looking into it, but once you get into it, it's actually quite small. So we'll probably keep our presence there. It's been excellent for us. Also, we are American focused. We're an American brokerage. Legally, we have to have boots on the ground. That's where our sales team has to be. We made that choice to come back to Toronto and open our second office here because the talent is awesome. Canada is just like a treasure trove of amazing engineering, growth, design talent. And you can see that in the Valley. I think it's 1% of Canada's population is in the Valley because of that access to capital. And we wanted to build here. We kept it open of where to build our engineering team, and just a lot of great people here, and that just kind of happened naturally. And we've been really happy with that. With it's challenging, not to be in the same room and have that 3-hour time difference is just enough to suck, really. But we'll be building out that office further here in the next coming year.
Thank you, Natalie. That was great. You mentioned talent. It sounds like there's a lot of people in the room who are looking for talent too. How, as a startup, are you finding you're being successful in competing for the best talent?
Well, finding the best talent, we work with recruiters. We are a great client for those recruiting firms. That's probably where we source most of our technical talent. Our roots are pretty deep here, so some of the hires too we've also had through referrals. So our team will join us, love it, and then refer. And then to keep our talent, I think we're working on some really interesting things and really interesting problems. We're fairly transparent with everything that's going on between the two offices, and I hope the opportunity to not just disrupt but apply really novel technologies to a space that hasn't really been touched by those is compelling and exciting enough. And they're here, so you can ask them there.
Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah.
So you mentioned mobile first, which I think is great. Something that's interesting with insurance is it's not like Uber or a bank where you're checking your balance on a weekly basis. As you mentioned, it's, they have a claim or they get their annual renewal or something like that. So maybe you could talk about some of the challenges of getting people to use the app and have it downloaded and keep using it, and maybe what makes your customers different that makes them want to have this app on their phones and use it regularly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we try to build tools that are useful to our customers around just getting them insurance and then having them file a claim. So we'll build tools such as there's one that we released a while ago. It needs a better name, but we call it Magic Cam. And basically what that person can do is walk around their home and chronicle everything in their home so that they can, when they have a claim, that they can be properly reimbursed for it. So that's a really neat way that they get a new item that they can come in and add to that policy. There's also a lot of just retention that goes into knowing when their policy renews, when their birthdays are, just information that we can continually let them know that we're still there and still there to support them. I think the Credit Karma model is really interesting and smart, the way that they have that hook in there that's check your credit on a regular basis, but then they have their tax services that are once a year. So I think exploring more useful tools will be a big growth advantage or tactic for us in the future.
I have a question over here.
Hi there. I was wondering, you mentioned friction. So what are the friction you encountered after your clients install your app? I guess my second question is, how do you compete with traditional brokerage firm when they have more human touch with the client? When your clients face any questions, how do you help them through your app and design?
So it was about frictions first. I would say an auto policy is probably one of the easiest policies that you're going to get outside of renters, and we need 73 pieces of data to get that, to write that policy for you. And a lot of it is not intuitive information, like what is your VIN number? Most people don't even know where to find that, let alone to get that. So we have to, be careful in how we ask these questions so that a person, they can be challenged but not overwhelmed when they shut down that app. So, whether it's helping them calculate their annual mileage as opposed to just flat out asking them. And I'm sorry, there was another part to your question as well. Oh, sorry, human contact. So the funny thing that we learned starting this was that our customers don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. They don't want to have to, get on a phone, give their banking information over the phone, and really have any of that. For most of them, it's a chore. It's not really something that they're doing for fun. So most of our business we transact over text. And then we're able to take their banking information over text, and then that's normally how we close out that whole policy. So while we do have a full-time sales team that's there to answer questions, to review those coverages with them, make sure everything is proper for them, for the most part, we're working on removing the frequency of those touches so that people can just interact with it as more so a tool than like a big thing every year that they have to, do their renewal for their insurance. It's more so just set it and forget it.